five precepts were there in place as a natural consequence of people living together.
Buddhists love any kind of light. It could be a flame of a candle.
When we touch peace inside from meditation, we shall know that it's so powerful.
Or you got to learn how difficult it is. You can see that all the monks, they become a monk. It's not easy for them.
This hall is used for important ceremonies, meditation practice, and Dharma training.
Sawadee. Welcome to Meditation for All, shown every Sunday morning on DMC channel at 4 a.m. Thai time, a fact-filled program that will help you start your day feeling spiritual, centered, and uplifted. Today, from Buddhist concept on the meaning of the word in Buddhism, you will start to see the link between environment, stable diet, and people quality of mind, or their quality of life. According to Reverend Thanissaro, you can take it as a legend if you like, but at least try to understand why we made this link. Don't think that we are the ultimate of society, or society is getting better as a result of our efforts. In fact, it isn't as far as our morality becomes worse.
So there started to be, again, apart from the difference of bright or dark complexion, now there was a difference also between genders. But instead of one gender looking down on the other, something completely different happened. They were actually attracted to one another. And once they started to become attracted to one another, then they wanted to pair off. And once they wanted to pair off, any form of intimacy which happened between them, they were ashamed of this. Because normally the ideal of the celestial beings is a celibate lifestyle. So if some of them are no longer succumbing, then they are no longer motivated to lead a celibate lifestyle anymore. In fact, this was something which they felt ashamed of. So they had to find a place where they could conceal themselves in order to have their way. And this started to be the settling down of couples, where they would build houses, not to live in or to keep the rain off, but to hide their shameless behavior. So they started to be settling down. Once this happened, again, the staple food became more coarse than before. Now, instead of being creepers, it started to be a form of corn or a form of rice. But not rice like in the present day. It was rice that if you picked the seeds of rice from the heads of corn hanging down, by the next morning it would have grown back. So there would be no scar left on the head of corn when you broke off a seed from it to eat. But because people started to become territorial, because they had their own houses now, then they started to divide up the land. And each morning they would go out to harvest enough to feed themselves during that day. They would take only as much as they needed. Later on, though, some people's quality of mind deteriorated yet further. They started to think, well, can't be bothered to go out to get rice every day. How about going out every second day and during that day collecting up twice as much as they needed? So they started to have hoarding of food. When it became worse than that, some of them didn't even stay in their own territories. They started to take food from the other side of the fence in their neighbors' vegetable patches or whatever. And when this started to happen, turned out that the quality of the food deteriorated yet further. It would no longer be rice that grew back every day, but it started to be the rice like in the present day, when there would be a scar left on the head of rice or the head of corn when you broke off the seed. So this made life worse still. Some people stole their food from their neighbors, and when they were caught, they lied and said, "Oh, it wasn't me, I wasn't stealing." They told blatant lies. So apart from them starting to be stealing, there would also be lying happening. And when this deteriorated further, when some people were shameless in their lying, they had to set up a person to be a judge of who was right or wrong in a particular situation where there was a conflict. And this would be the first king to govern society in those days. Before that time, there was no need to be governed because people stuck to honesty, especially to 5 precepts. You know what I mean by 5 precepts? It happened naturally. No one spoke about Buddhism, but 5 precepts were there in place as a natural consequence of people living together. So when we talk about 5 precepts, in fact, they are much older than Buddhism itself. One thing else I'd like to say is that people at that time were very much taller than people are in the present day. Apart from being long-lived, like living for hundreds of thousands of years, instead of living for 100 years, they're also very large. And I've seen photographs of some excavations of archaeological sites where they found the skulls of apparently human beings, where the skulls themselves were as tall as a human being stands tall in the present day. So the skull was 6 foot high. So there is some evidence, but this is like long before dinosaurs, okay? And the grains of food which we're talking about, a grain of rice would be this sort of size. So it's no wonder that, you know, 1 grain of rice could support them for days at a time. So this is prehistory. You don't hear about this sort of age of human beings happening. We tend to think that human beings started off living in caves, you know, or being descended from monkeys or whatever. But what we find is, in fact, it's exactly the opposite. That human beings in the present day are deteriorated as compared with their ancestors. So what happens? We come back to our graph again. Further down the line, further down the curve of this decline, we come to where we are in the present day. So somewhere here, what's the average lifespan in the present day? 75 years. Okay. In those days, hundreds of thousands of years. So lifespan has deteriorated, quality of life has deteriorated as people's quality of mind has deteriorated. Especially as the way they treated each other becomes worse. As they become more dishonest, more shameless, then lifespan deteriorates. Why? Because the quality of the food deteriorates. It brings with it more illnesses, more impurities in the food. And it's said that all things being equal, lifespan of the average lifespan of human beings will become 1 year less with every 100 years that passes. And from what we know of recent history, if you look back to the time of the Buddha, the average lifespan of human beings in those days was 100 years. That was 2,500 years ago. So if you divide that by 100, lifespan has become 25 years less since 2,500 years ago. So it adds up. So if you look back further than that, it must have been a long time ago if people had a lifespan of 100,000 years. And it goes on. We come up to another teaching which we find also in the Buddhist scriptures, which describes the end of this decline, so the end of the curve here. And this teaching is called the Cakkavatti Sutta. It describes about a point in time where people descend into savagery, and where lifespan of human beings is only 10 years old. Where as children they grow up, by the time they're 1.5 or 3 years old, they're looking for a mate. They're settling down, getting married by the age of 5, and they're dead by the age of 10. And in those days you don't need to talk about morality anymore. People hunt each other as they'd hunt animals. They don't have any idea of faithfulness to a particular husband or wife. They'd eat each other as readily as they'd eat wild animals in the forest. So there's nothing left of morality in such a time. In Thai we call this Galiyuk, the dark age of mankind. And it's a time when people are completely lost when they are talking about morality. And there will come a time when there's a sort of holocaust, where people hunt each other for food until there's virtually no one left anymore. And at that time there'll be a few people who run away into the forests, and once it's all over, they come out again and they embrace each other and say, oh, you survived this as well. From now on, we're never going to make this mistake again. From now on, we're going to try to live a more civilized life. And as a result of that, then there's an upturn in lifespan, in quality of lifestyle, and again, there's a development to the point that people will become more civilized, and eventually their lifespan increases again to hundreds of thousands of years. When during this cycle would a Buddha appear? Well, a Buddha would appear sometime during the decline, and it's said that he will choose a time to come to earth when people have a lifespan of not more than 100,000 years and not less than 100 years. Why not more than 100,000 years? Because if he talks about impermanence or deterioration of the body, if you talk about that to a person who lives for hundreds of thousands of years, they just laugh at you and say it's rubbish, because they've never seen a person die since they've been alive. If people have a lifespan of less than 100 years, like us, the Buddha said that life is so short that people don't have enough time to produce significant amounts of good deeds to make any difference in their life, to see the results of their good deeds. So again, the Buddha's teachings would be lost on them. So, for our point of view, we're lucky the Buddha's teachings have not disappeared yet, but we don't have the chance to meet him personally anymore, because we've been born in a time when our lifespan is already beyond the 100-year mark. So, we get some idea about what's happening here in the cycle of things. You start to see now why in Buddhism we link environment, staple diet, with people's quality of life and their quality of mind. Okay, you can take it as a legend if you like, but at least try to understand why we make this link. Don't think that we are the ultimate of society, or society is getting better as a result of our efforts. In fact, it's not. In as far as our morality becomes worse, in fact, we are speeding up the deterioration of society. Some people might say, so what? Every 100 years we have to have a lifespan which is 1 year shorter. But in fact, it's not hard and fast. If people behaved in a moral way, if people respected morality in society, you can freeze this deterioration. Maybe not go as far as to reverse it, but certainly you can slow it down. There's no reason that within 5,000 years we need to come to the end of civilization as we know it. And got another, how much left? 75, 60, 6,500 years. It can be longer than that if we respect morality and put the teaching which we know into proper practice. But if things go as they are going, and I'm sure many of you can think of examples of deterioration in society which you wouldn't believe is happening in some places, where even supposedly civilized people degrade themselves into the sorts of behaviors which we'd never seen before. Where people are treating each other in very savage ways, even in supposedly civilized societies. You can see the signs of this deterioration are starting to come through, where young children are behaving in ways which we'd never believe a child would behave like that before. As if primal instincts are coming out in some way. So it's up to us in some ways about how quickly
The future is whatever you want it to be. The future is our world, depends on our morality. Encouraging ourselves and others to do wholesome deeds is vitally important. Next, see Buddhist culture from the candlelight to the symbol of wisdom.
From candlelight to symbol of wisdom. Inviting candlelight to exist inside while meditating is a technique to still the mind inside the chamber of origin. From the gentle stillness, wisdom comes. Then the flame is turned to be the symbol of wisdom of the statue of Lord Buddha or Buddha image, which Buddhists call Gyat Blau, or the eternal flame on the top knot of the head of the statue. Not only in the day of Buddhist Lent, but also throughout the year, during any time of meditation, Buddhists like to light a candle and love to make the flame to be the tool of concentration, or only to decorate the atmosphere, to make it more serene. Buddhists love any kind of light. It could be a flame of a candle or flame from a cotton thread soaked with oil in a tiny bowl, or even in a coconut shell. It is used for chanting or meditating. Buddhists will chant or meditate until the flame fades away. This could be in the late afternoon or in the evening, inside their shelter, or out at the temple place or stupa. The outside light acts as the shade of peace, but it is only external. The real peace should be inside, because it is the production of mind. When they are in the process of true meditation, a Buddhist always invites the image of candlelight in and places it at the center of the body, inside the chamber of origin. The teaching of Buddhism said, wisdom is inside, the body of wisdom, or body of enlightenment, is at the center of the body. Then, when they meditate, they learn to travel inward, and by visualization, the candlelight is the landmark inside. The body of wisdom, or body of enlightenment, is the body of truth that turned Prince Siddhartha to be the Lord Buddha. Buddhism said, to be the Lord Buddha, one must blend the two bodies to be as one. They are the physical body with 32 signs of a great man called Rupakaya, and the principal body, or body of wisdom, that is the body of enlightenment, called Dhammakaya. The Dhammakaya, or body of enlightenment, is provable only by true meditation through the center of the body, after the stillness at that point is completed. Then, the true traveling inward begins. As candlelight can lighten up the darkness of the night, the truth of enlightenment can conquer all troubles. Based on this principle, candlelight turns to be the symbol of wisdom. With this reason, the flame of candlelight that turns to be the symbol of wisdom has been put on the top knot of the statue of wisdom or Buddha image. This belief firstly became visible at Sri Lanka around 1,000 years ago. This was not the first time that a statue of wisdom was made. And from then on, the flood of culture and changes, most of Southeast Asia was influenced. And in Thailand, the most flourished land of Buddhism, this type of statue was seen in the time of Sukhothai period, or around 900 years ago, when the exchange of Buddhist monks between the two Buddhist countries were made. In Thailand, this type of statue was named Get Pleo. This has then come to be the major type of statue making of wisdom, from Sukhothai to Ayutthaya until now. Get Pleo, with the symbol of wisdom, is not the true picture of the body of enlightenment. It is only the image of light that stimulates wisdom. It is only to convey the truth that the real light is the light of wisdom founded by Lord Buddha through meditation. It is the eternal light to lighten up the world of troublesome in which we survive.
Meditation helps you clean and clear your mind. Now, join Reverend Somsak Piyasilo in our favorite meditation session.
Peace is invisible because it lies inside. When it is inside, it can't be seen, but it can be touched. When we touch peace inside from meditation, we shall know that it's so powerful. And meditation is the only means, the only vehicle that will bring us to touch peace inside. Peace is really inside. Why don't we try meditation together? Ladies and gentlemen, this is session 9 of part 3. Welcome everyone to the program Meditation for All. Now, are you ready for meditation? If so, find your own most comfortable corner to sit. You may sit on the floor as usual with the support of a cushion, or you may sit on the chair where you feel sort of comfortable as well. And then, are you ready? We just relax and close our eyes slowly. Every session of meditation will start with relaxation. We can breathe in deeply and take a long out breath. This is in order to relax. Relax the whole body while we keep our back so straight. Keeping the back straight will make us really comfortable throughout the meditation session. We relax as if we are dipped into the stream of relaxation. It's like we are beneath the waterfall of relaxation. This makes the whole body, from head to heels, relaxed. For newcomers, we learn the concept of the turning point together. Take a good deep breath, deeper in. The wind will go past the lungs down to the middle of the stomach. Let's try. The middle of stomach, where the in-breath turns out-breath, we name this the turning point. And in meditation, we can name it the station of peace. This is the point where everyone together will focus the mind in meditation. Allow the mind to enter the center of the body. The mind makes a journey and will stand still at this very center of the body. Peace is inside, while people always search peace outside because they don't know the method. Meditation, when we center our mind inside, we click on the existence of peace inside. Now we bring the mind back home. Every time the mind lies inside, the mind is at home. When the mind is at home, the mind feels peace. Peace is felt gradually. Remain at home, the home base of the mind. Remain there for a while. It's like a soft click on the spot right inside the body. When we click it right, the brightness would arise automatically from inside. It's like the silvery moon is shining all over inside. This is, by the way, the inner moon shining bright, so bright inside. It's the warm brightness from the inner moon. Let the moon in the mind shine for a while in peace. And right in the middle of the moon, the round moon, and we decorate the center of the moon by a little tiny star, a bright dot right in the center of the moon. It's shining brighter than the round moon. The bright dot of the star is the connection of the mind and the land of the Supreme Truth. Anyway, enjoy looking at the middle. That is a tiny star in the middle of the shining moon in much more peace. Enjoy the existence of the bright star over the bright moon inside the body. We shall realize that this is our best friend. As time goes by, time brings decay and deterioration to the physical body. Time means aging. But this rule doesn't apply with the center of the body. Life inside the center is forever blissful. Every time we meditate and click on happiness and peace inside, life is forever young and blissful. Enjoy the bliss inside. The contentment from meditation is ever increasing. As time passes by, in the center of the body, life can grow. But as life grows, life also glows. Glows with the brightness from the bright dot over the bright moon in the center of the body. In Buddhism, it is taught that we can live above the rule of decay, but it is the power of peace inside. We can call this the invisible power of peace. Peace is the production of meditation. Peace is taught a lot in Buddhism. Thanks for the Oriental philosophy, and also thanks for Buddhism, who teach how to live above the rule of decay. In meditation, life is fulfilled, and we have the promise of a better life as time goes by. If we meditate often, the inside is happier and more and more all the time. It is not like the physical body that we get older and older all the time. So if we want real peace, we need meditation. And meditation is free as long as we just sit down and put practice of meditation. We can take a few good deep breaths again in order to confirm the existence of the center of the body. Remind ourselves of the bright star, bright dot of the star at the center of the bright moon. Confirm the existence of this inside. Enjoy peace in the simple way. Enjoy peace at any time of life. Feel the life forever young at any time. And once we are ready, ladies and gentlemen, let's count down from 3 to 0 in order to slowly open up. How is your meditation? Everyone will get peace more or less from meditation. Remember to enjoy peace free of charge. Just sit down, relax, and go to the center of the body at any time in your life. Until we meet again for a better peace of mind. Remember to practice meditation every day while we are away. Until we meet again next time. Have a good time. สวัสดี to all of you. Goodbye.
In our studio today, still with us, Nini Gewalin and her two friends, Antali Nathasan and Nataya Champairod, who are going to join with us the best joy in their lives.
Now I'm gonna back to Miss Antari, okay? We just met, but we bonded today, and I heard a lot about how wonderful. Now I'm gonna turn the question to Nat, okay? Pinat, so when did you come to the temple?
Just about a year.
Oh, about a year
Just
ago?
about
Okay,
a year.
great.
Yes.
Okay.
Not very long.
Oh, not very long time. That's nice. And then, how many sons do you have?
I have 2 sons and 1 daughter.
Oh, that's great. Okay. And then I heard that the oldest one, he did ordained last year.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
For a month.
Oh, for a whole month?
Yes.
Wow. How he likes it.
Oh, very, he liked it very much.
Oh, I
and he
see.
was the one who convinced my second son to come
This year?
Yes.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And the second son, how old is he?
He's just 20.
Oh, so he participated in this program this year?
Yes.
That's nice. So with the bigger brother, that's why he's here today. But anyway, the bigger brother want to come back again this year too, right? To become a monk, but
He couldn't because of his work.
I
He
see.
couldn't get
So he couldn't
the
get
leave
off.
too long. Yes.
I see. Okay. But anyway, Anumotana Bun to him
Sadhu.
too, okay, from all of us around the
Sadhu.
world that he
Okay.
convinced his
Okay.
younger brother to come
Okay.
here. And so far, give me a little bit background about him because I'm quite shocked when I heard the story about him. He's kind of like a rock star.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes.
He grew his hair for 3 years.
Okay.
You know, it's quite long, and he loved his hair. He said to me that he loved his hair more than he loved me.
He's just joking.
Oh no, he was serious. When I was asking him to become a monk for me, you know, but he said no. I love my hair. I wouldn't want to have my hair, you know, shaved off, because I have been growing this for years. And I think I like long hair, and he doesn't want to talk about it. And when my first son came back from the
army?
yes. So he became a monk. When he went back home, and we were talking in the car about how things with him when he was a monk, and he was saying about how nice people are there and how things are, and he was so happy to be there, but it was a short time that he could do because he got to come back to work. Then he said, afterward, he said to his brother that, Nicholas, you should become a monk for Mom next year. And Nicholas said to him, yes.
Right
And
there
I-
in the car.
Yes, and we
Oh,
got shocked,
wow.
really shocked.
That's
And then Eddie, my big son called Eddie, he said that did you say yes? He said yes. And you promised? He said yes. Okay, you promised you got to become a monk next year for Mom. So since then, we didn't talk about it at all because it was a
He had
big
to wait,
shock.
yeah,
and,
okay.
and then afterward, we come to a year later, which is this year in
Right.
January, about the end of January. One day he phoned me and then he said to me, Mom, I want to have a haircut. And I thought, are you feeling all right?
I'm not sure.
I said, no, I said, why? And then he said, well, because I'm fed up with it. I just want to have it cut. And, probably short hair suit me more than long hair. I said, okay, then you can come to me, or you can go to, have hair done yourself, and I'll pay for you. In the end, he came, and we went to salon, and then...
Got it all cut off?
Yes.
Wow. I'm shocked.
Save his hair? I don't know why.
Yes.
Just suddenly.
So then after that, so he decided, did he know that he going to become a monk very soon afterwards? Is that why he kind of like prepared in a way?
Probably.
Yeah,
He didn't say
okay.
much, but I didn't really want to, keep on to him. So I let him come to me and say to me, look, Mom, I'm ready to be a monk for you, But since he had a haircut, so everybody think that he was going to be a monk.
Right.
So later on, about March or April, I said to him that I'm going to book a ticket for him.
Right.
For us to come.
Uh-huh.
And then he said, go on, Mom, just go ahead.
Which is he going to do it for
Yes,
you?
yes.
So both of them doing it for you?
Just for
Oh,
me.
that is wonderful. And you know what? I just want people to know out there, you might, it sounds silly, isn't it, that what's the big deal about hair? But it is a big deal for people who live in another country. Because, they really love their hairs, no matter woman or man. So, that's a big thing. That's a big step for him, isn't it? Especially like rock and roll.
Yes.
And then, so when he get here, did he say anything much about,
Yes, he was complaining a little bit. When just 2 days before the ordination day, I went to see him. And then we sat down, he looked so sad. And then he said to me, Mom, I just want to leave.
Oh, why?
I said, why? He said, well, everything here is so
not as convenient as the lifestyle there.
Yeah, he said, well, when I take shower, I have to sit down.
Right.
And then I can't wear underwear.
Right.
And then the toilet is so low, I can't see. It just
not convenient lifestyle
for him. And I said to him, look, this is, you got to learn how difficult it is. You can see that all the monks, they become a monk. It's not easy for them.
Right.
So you know how it's difficult for the monk. So you got to be a little bit patient. After becoming a monk, it will be a different story.
Right.
I said to him, and then he said, still.
Oh, that's nice.
And he said, a lot of mosquitoes don't like him.
Don't like me either. Even I come here so many times, still don't like me.
Sweet blood.
Yes.
Sweet blood.
Oh, but then you did convince him and kind of like support him in a way.
Yes, that's right.
Very nice,
Yes.
very nice. Because you know what, it's not easy at all.
No.
Because we live in the lifestyle like that. So then he's, okay, Mom, I'm gonna do it, right?
Yes.
And then so he go on, and then now a week later, so
2 days afterwards, ordination day.
Right.
Yes.
And then lately, have you seen him lately?
Yes.
Okay, how did he change? Seems happier?
He's quite busy with his, a lot of things, happen. He is quite happy.
That's
quite
nice.
happy.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh wow, I have to give him thumbs up because it's not easy at all. Just for normal people to come here and live life like that, but
That's
being a
right.
monk,
Yeah.
200-something precepts.
Especially the children from West.
Right.
Because their lifestyle is so different from Thai. And the eating, the
Right.
food, the culture, especially the
The
bathroom.
weather.
Yes.
It's so,
Yeah,
it's so
right.
humid
Wow.
here,
Right.
which is very, very hard.
But then he still overcome all of that because of one thing.
Yeah,
Right.
I thought that he might change his mind until the day that I give the
Rope to him.
rope to him. That makes me feel that
He really doing it.
for me.
See, that's what I'm saying. But
Yeah,
see, he
and I was
learned.
so happy that day.
Yes, talk about that. I didn't get to see you on the video yet, but I heard that You and I the same thing. I cry every time, but I heard that you were pouring, not just crying. So share with me on that.
Once he walked in the room, and I just kept looking at him, and I was thinking, oh, this is my baby. He's still my baby.
Exactly.
Even though he is 20, he's still my baby always. And I saw him there in a white cloth, walking in there, and then coming, sit in front of me, ask for forgiveness. And then it brought my tear, you see. And then he come, ask forgiveness, and then I give
Robe to him.
I give that, and then the song from the temple.
Oh, I know. That's
When
always
they turned the
get me
song
too.
from the temple, I just couldn't stop,
I
you
know.
know, crying. It was so emotional, emotional so much, and then I felt that the music,
song, it just
the song,
touched your
it just,
heart.
yes, that's why.
Yes.
And then still I can feel it. That whenever I hear the song, it just make me cry. So it's just my son doing this
But
for me.
But you know, that's crying is, you know, from the happiness
Cry.
inside.
Yes,
Yes,
that's
as a
right.
mother,
Yes.
I know, because I cry all the time, all the time. But
you?
you know what? You cry with the happiness inside.
Right,
yeah.
yes.
Next, meet my beautiful co-host, Vera Reung Tragoon, in Tour on the Temple. She will take you to see the largest hall in Thailand, perhaps in the world, used to accommodate hundreds of thousands meditators who believe world peace can be achieved through inner peace. That concludes the program for today. We hope you enjoy our program. See you next time. สวัสดีค่ะ
Sawadika. My name is Vera Reung Tragoon, and you're joining me on the tour of the temple at Wat Phra Thamakai in Pathum Thani, Thailand. Today, I'll be taking you to the gathering place of living truth for true happiness. Right from the start of the creation of Wat Phra Thamakai, the pioneers intended to create a haven for Dharma practice as a refuge of peace to a tormented world. Exemplary practices of that small group of devotees inspired the faith of an increasingly large number of people. To keep up with the growth of the congregation, the Jatu Maharajika Hall was built, accommodating up to 500 people. But within 10 years, as the numbers grew to tens of thousands, the Sapajak or Thatched Tamakaya Hall was built, accommodating up to 12,000 people. But as the visitors grew to the hundreds of thousands, this necessitated the creation of an even larger meditation hall to accommodate everyone. Right next to me is the Great Tamakaya Hall, a multi-purpose facility built from 1996 to 2000, and that still remains unfinished. This massive structure is a two-story building that, when completed, will be the largest building of its kind created in this world. The enormity of this project is truly amazing, and when finished, this structure will cover an area of over 40 acres. This hall is used for important ceremonies, meditation practice, and Dharma training. It offers a venue large enough to accommodate 300,000 people and is used on Sundays and Buddhist holidays. Here is where you'll find Longpa Tamachayo, the abbot of the temple, leading meditation sessions on Sundays. On regular days, you might wonder why such a large structure is created. But you'll find, however, that on Sundays and Buddhist holidays, this structure that seemed so big might actually seem small. The rear is covered by a gigantic mosquito net, probably the world's largest, where the abbot conducts his Dharma teaching every evening. His Dharma teachings are aired every day throughout the world via the DMC International Satellite Broadcasting Network. In the present day, the congregation at Wat Pho Thamakai continues to grow with no signs of let. The gathering of hundreds of thousands of peace lovers from all over the world sends a positive message that world peace is within our reach. But if only individuals first find peace within themselves. You're welcome to this great Tamakaya Hall to experience this for yourself. See you soon. สวัสดีค่ะ